Hello, everyone. This is Josh Oakes with the smartsocial.com podcast. No matter where you're listening to us or watching us on, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or our iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or anywhere else, we're happy that you're here because we're here to keep your kids safe and smart on the web. And we're here more so than just that. We're here to prep them for their future, for college and career, and to help make the internet something that's more friendly with a purpose instead of just a pastime where it sucks our time away from us. Today, I have a really, really special guest, and I'm honored to have her here today. I have Natalie Greenwood here today, who's a sophomore from Westlake Academy. Natalie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here. Now, Natalie, full disclosure for everybody, I spoke at your high school 2 weeks ago and what an honor. With some great students that you guys had there. What did you think of the speech to your high school?
You know, I really, really liked it. There was a lot of information about social media that, it took a different angle. And I really, really liked that because it talked about, how you can use it to get into college and keeping it positive because, teens, I myself too, like I love social media and I feel like it gave a lot of good information that we could definitely use.
Awesome. And are you thinking about college in the near future? How is that working? Or how would that have played into what we talked about? Have you Googled yourself since we talked?
I did actually, yeah. I found one picture, so I feel like my digital footprint is pretty good so far. And I feel like I went back and sort of edited some posts a little bit to make it more positive and about a team effort and more community.
That's awesome. So for everybody listening here today, not to toot my horn, but when we speak to schools, we talk to students, we never tell them what not to do. Instead, we tell them the internet is awesome. We're going to show you how to use it as a purpose instead of a pastime. Today, I'm going to tell you to be on the web a little bit more with your parents' permission. And we talked to Natalie's school, all of her peers, about Googling themselves. We Googled some celebrities, we laughed along the way, and we looked at their image results. And we said, all right, how can we start to make your Google results your new resume? Will all these other people come up? How should we design a website around your purpose, your passion, and your projects? And so we really got the students thinking about this whole thing that we're playing on Instagram and having fun. How do we make it our new resume? How do we put our best foot forward and our secret identity is discovered so that people go, whoa, I've got to get Natalie in for an interview. We are at this college she applied to, and we love what this young woman's doing. Now, Natalie, let's talk about you. You have started a website, which I'm fascinated with. It's called teendigitaldetox.com. I'm going to show everybody that's on YouTube right now and the other video software that we're streaming to is going to see it. Join the movement. Challenge yourself to unplug from social media for 1 week, February 25th to March 3rd. And it says step 1 is watch the project video, sign up and fill out pre-detox survey, log off of social media from February 25th to March 3rd, fill out the post-detox survey, and receive service points and CAS. There's criteria for service, informational flyer, project video, and about. And there's all these different things. This is amazing. Talk to me really quickly or teach everybody what inspired you to do this.
Okay, so part of being a student at Westlake Academy is completing a personal project. And your personal project is just about you, it's whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. And so my personal project sort of started off with as a student athlete and with a demanding workload, I've definitely got to be really solid with time management. And so my personal project was sort of figuring out where a lot of my time was going. And so that led me to figure out that I was actually spending a lot of time on my social media, on my devices, and just sort of those kinds of things. And that got me to start researching all of these positive and negative impacts of social media. And that just led right into the creation of the Digital Detox.
Amazing. Okay, so that inspired you to want to be more productive with your time. Tell me about some of the research that you found. By the way, everybody listening to this, I couldn't be more proud of the student right now. Natalie has gone and done research on how to improve herself. And she's about to share it with us. What's some of the research behind why we should take a detox?
Okay, so my research, I really divided into three main takeaways. One of them was more observational, and that is that social media and these new platforms, came out at the same time that, my peer group was born. So that would have been early 2000s. And so what this means is that, they're still sort of teenagers themselves, and they're still figuring stuff out just like we are. And so a lot of these studies that have just come out are relatively recent, and it's really been um, about the positive benefits up until this time, and now we're sort of getting into the more negative aspects. So that sort of led me into my second main research takeaway, which was the chemical that goes by the name dopamine. And dopamine is the same chemical that is released in your brain that makes you feel good after you work out, achieve a goal, but it's also the same chemical released whenever you receive a text or another, social media notification. And so the body, it does need to produce dopamine because it's a neurotransmitter that helps to administer our emotional responses. But it is the same chemical that makes you feel good once you're addicted to tobacco, drugs, alcohol, and gambling. And so it's interesting that there are age restrictions in place to prevent, abuse and addiction to all of those things. And I'm not suggesting that there needs to be an age restriction on social media, but I am suggesting that balance and moderation should be, considered given the potential harmful effects that are triggered by this very real chemical reaction within our brain. And the thing is that we already know that, numerous studies have proven that people who spend too much time on social media are experiencing increased rates of depression and anxiety. And so if we break the addiction and reliance on social media, well, we can start that by taking a break from it or a digital detox. And the third category of the main takeaways of my research was the self-objective awareness theory. And so that basically means that when all of your attention is focused inward all the time as a way to build up yourself in the eyes of others, you evaluate what you see based on standards and expectations that have been subconsciously set throughout your life. And so whenever you post something on social media, you put a filter on it and you're trying to hide or enhance certain features, or you just want to make the photo look better in general. And I'm a big, I love, filtering photos or whatever, but while it's definitely fun to do all of this to make an activity seem, special, it's sometimes the viewer, it's not necessarily reality. And so it's more focused on enhancing the photo for optimal viewing pleasure. And so sometimes it can just be taken too far because it can lead to vanity, self-absorption, and egoism. Whereas being genuinely interested in others and their backgrounds is a better way to build meaningful relationships. But unfortunately, these multiple visits to one's profile each day is reducing our self-esteem because, we keep comparing ourselves to others, and sometimes our expectations could have become potentially unreachable in our mind, and they make us feel inferior, but it's totally natural because of where it relates back to dopamine.
Wow. Okay, so you've hit on a lot, and I want to share with you how I felt when you said something really powerful. You said, "Isn't it interesting that there's an age restriction, Natalie, on tobacco and alcohol?" You hinted at that, which I thought, "Oh my gosh, you're right. There is tobacco being 21 in California and alcohol being tobacco 18 and 21 or something like that, right? Regardless of what decade it is or how things change." But how fascinating. You are so right about there is no real legal age restriction about the dopamine that you get from screen time. Now, I thought that was fascinating. And then you're right about how fake Instagram is. And you are much more humble than I am. I am here to protect children, and you are being one of those awesome people that is the ambassador that we all need at every school. So please see that I'm proud of you, but I'm also going to be 2% more harsh because it's my job. And I want to share with you right now and see what you think of this. See, I have this one screen. We're making 200 micro videos this year. When should my kids get a phone? And tell me what you think of this. Our suggestions are 0 to 10, no phone. I mean, a little bit of screen time here and there, if TV or whatever, but 10 to 13, if your kid must have a phone, tell me what you think is, Natalie. It's a flip phone. You can connect and communicate, SMS, text, phone calls and stuff, right? If you have to, if your parents are maybe divorced or whatever, and one wants to keep track of you. But at 13, it's a cell phone safety contract. If you must, and then they get a smartphone at 14 without social media apps installed. So they have training wheels. And then at 15, a smartphone with the apps installed. Parents are on it with them. I know it sounds terrible to all the 12-year-olds that want to be on Instagram and have their own phone right now. What do you think of this, Natalie? Does this sound fair as a sophomore? How old are you?
I'm 16.
You're 16. So you are past this. What do you think? I mean, you have people at your school. Do you think this is fair, or is this tough? Is it hard?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I'm pretty close to following this timeline because I'm 16 and my mom, she still goes through my phone to check my social media and everything. And I think I got on social media the summer before my freshman year. And I feel like that was really, really helpful because I know a ton of my friends who are on social media in maybe fifth grade. And, you know, that was maybe before we knew a lot of the negative impacts. So I think that's a really good timeline.
Okay, awesome. So this is fascinating what you're talking about here. And I think you bring up a great point. Everybody that's listening here right now, whether they're audio, and by the way, just a little side note, if anyone ever has a story, a parenting story, or a story about how your family has figured out something awesome, if you have an amazing daughter like Natalie and you want to share your family story on our podcast, please reach out or reply to any of the emails you get. Hit reply real quickly and it will go straight to us. Or you can email me at josh@smartsocial.com. Now, one more thing, Natalie, that I kind of want to ask you. Why we've talked a little bit about your inspiration. We've talked about the research, which kind of hints at why it's so important. But tell me some of the benefits that students might get if, let's pretend like we're towards the end of the week, students have deleted their apps, and actually just walk us through what it is. What does the week look like? And then what will students feel towards the end of the week?
All right. So I did do this detox, and, you know, really the whole purpose of it, just, you know, bigger picture, is figuring out how a healthy balance of the use best fits into our lives. So I sort of made the analogy to a diet. So, you know, everyone goes on a diet for a different reason. You know, it might be to cut sugar, you know, add strength, lose weight. But through the process of the diet, you gain perspective on balance and moderation and what changes, if any, need to be made going forward. So during my own personal digital detox, you know, I took off all my social media on Sunday and, you know, added it all back on. And it was definitely, I think it was harder than I originally thought, because like I said, it's all about time management, you know, basketball, school. And I didn't realize how much time I was actually spending on social media. And just, it was really, really noticeable because, you know, I would, you know, get up in the morning, go to basketball, go to school, then go to several basketball practices after school. And then by the time I get home, I would get on social media and I wouldn't realize how much time would go by before I would start my homework. And I feel like by getting off of social media, not only was I maybe improving my time management, but I was improving my mood. And I really, really noticed a big change. And I feel like that's what people don't necessarily think, is that by getting off social media, they're going to notice something, but it's for sure, it left a huge impact. And I plan to keep doing digital detoxes going forward.
Okay, so I love this. And one of the things that I found when I did a detox in August, it wasn't and I'm going to be vulnerable here. I am a really motivated, I'm type A right now. I'm excited right now. I'm your biggest fan. But I found that this summer, Natalie, I wasn't my happy self quite as much. And I was like, why? And I was thinking, now I'm an adult, so I've seen a lot of the world. So why am I as happy? And I found that this device was taking too much of my time, my self-worth, and everything. So I thought, why not delete them? But one of the things I did, and if any students are listening to this or parents, and like, I can't do this, people will try and contact me. Natalie, tell me what you think of this. But I would suggest to everybody, I announced on social media that I would be deleting my apps for a week. And I said, I'm about to delete my apps in 3 days. If you need to contact me, You can text or call. I still have a phone. I'm going to be as social. I have email, text. You can call me. You can get old school and dial me or FaceTime me, which nobody does these days, but we can, you'll still be able to get a hold of me. I'll be back in a week. And that made me feel so free, Natalie. It made me feel like it gave me permission to myself to get off social for the week. And I was like, all right, no one's going to miss me because they'll all see that. At least I'll feel like I'm not leaving people hanging.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what you felt like when you did your first detox, but when I did it, I thought, okay, a week. And I immediately deleted them. And a lot of people asked me, how does it feel? Nobody wanted to partake in it. I just wanted to I wanted to try it myself like you did. And then 7 days went around and I didn't miss it. I actually did a 14-day hybrid. After 7 days, I went, okay, cool. I'll go on Facebook online and check. Okay, I have no messages. I mean, on a desktop, it's a little bit differently because I'm not perusing forever. I just check the inbox. Cool, neat. And then I didn't need it for 14 days. And then when I got back on it, I asked a lot of other students, my niece, who is a senior in high school, and she said, duh, Josh, I've done a bunch of these detoxes. And every time she gets back on, she sees social media differently for what it is, for how bad it can be with your time. How do you see social now that you're about to do another detox here coming up soon? What do you tell people after you've done one of these, how you approach it now?
Well, for me personally, it was about finding the time management and finding out where the balance fits in. And so I'm looking forward to hearing from people after the detox about what it was about for them, but it really was sort of this new experience. And I totally agree with what you said. My perspective definitely changed after getting back on it, because I was sort of wondering, I was asking myself, like, is this what I was spending my time on? Because there's so many other things that I accomplished in the same amount of time that were way more beneficial. And I mean, that was really my main takeaway.
That's awesome. I think it's so cool. We have so many other things we want to do. I'm remodeling my house and I finished my stairs. I finished my kitchen, the remodel, all these things. And I was social. I made new friends in real life. And I thought it was amazing. So I'm so glad you're doing this. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about your inspiration, the research, and dopamine and age restrictions on other things. So wise that you're saying this, but there's no age restrictions really on devices as of yet. Why it's important. You taught us kind of how it works a little bit. What would you tell other students that are on the fence, that are thinking, I can't get rid of this? What would you tell students that are thinking about this?
I would really just say, it's for you and it can't hurt you. And I would just say, give it a shot, because why not? I mean, the research is there. It's for you. So if you want to do it, then hey, there's going to be a ton of benefits. But at the same time, if you don't, you know the risks, potential harmful effects, and it's just up to you.
I love it. Okay, so for all your parents listening and watching, I want to nudge you 2%, because that's my job, is to motivate you to make a little bit of a decision. And I'm going to tell you, and Natalie, you can agree or disagree, give me your feedback, but a lot of students are begging for their parents to put a little bit of boundaries, just a little bit here and there. We're actually looking for people to say, don't do that. Or we're going to take your phone away for a little while because we noticed that you're maybe not having the best of a week, or you're not as motivated or cheerful as you normally are. The you that we love is a little sad, and let's take a little time off. Parents, if you're wondering, well, is this going to be right for my kid? You have nothing to lose. The world, people always say, well, I don't know if I want to go travel or move to that city and get that job. Well, I always tell them, this city will still be here when you come back. Not much will be changed, but you will be better for it. And that's really what the detox is. It's a travel little adventure where you get better, guaranteed, and that time will not be wasted. So parents, if you're wondering, please bring this up to your kids. Hey guys, this is crazy, but I think I'm going to delete my apps for a week. what if we did that and you guys have always wanted to do this, or go to ice cream on Tuesday night, and we bring more of your friends over for in-person pizza night, and we do a little bit of a deleting social media. We'll all announce it so people can find us, and we'll still be contacted, but it won't be us scrolling and consuming our time and comparing ourselves to other people. What do you kids think about that? Just open up that dialogue. I have a feeling that half of the people on this podcast that do that, that bring up that dialogue, their kids will go, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Billy at school or Sally at school did that, and they didn't hate it. They liked it. They said it was pretty cool. I saw somebody do that. And now it's your kid's idea and you guys can work together. I really agree with Natalie that this is like alcohol. It's like a methamphetamine. It's the worst of the drugs that we just hand to people at a very young age. And I want to urge every parent right now, bring up the dialogue. If your kids need help, they might want to talk about you with you about this. This is something dangerous, and it keeps the best of students from getting accomplished what they really want to, whether it's college prep or reading a real book or just having real friendships instead of following people and feeling excluded. Natalie, I'm going to give you last words. What do you think about that? How can a parent talk to their students about a detox?
Well, I would really emphasize the point that, it's not bad. It's great. Like, teenagers today, we love it. But it's the balance and the purposeful use. Because if you're sitting at a table and you're all on your phones, is that really a purposeful use of social media? Because you've got a bunch of other friends sitting right there in front of your face, and that's where those relationships are going to be formed. And those relationships that are formed today and now and not superficial are the ones that are going to take you further in life. And so if we just take a step back and take a break from social media, then, you have more opportunity. And, in no way am I placing myself on a pedestal, like above social media, because I use it too, but it's more purposeful and just more balanced.
Well, you are so humble. Your parents must be, I'm sure they are so proud, and I am proud, and your school is wonderful. All the people at your school have been really incredible, and such an honor to work with. Now, everybody that's listening here right now, Natalie is incredible. What she's doing, please talk to your kids about social media. A lot of people wonder, they maybe have confusion or concerns about social. And I want to talk to you about a free guide that we developed in our office. And it's basically called How to Navigate Social Media with Your Student. It's a 5-page guide. It's very easy, very quick to skim, but it has my favorite 3 ways to audit your family. And really, Natalie has seen this in the speech. It works for kids, middle schoolers, high schoolers, and parents. It teaches you how to know what your kids are doing online by Googling them, showing you the 5 different ways to Google your kids, doing it with your students so that you can laugh at the results and you audit yourself and your family online. And next, activities that we can do to get us off our screens and planning our purpose, our passion, and our projects, because these are what are going to end up on your resume. What Natalie's doing right now offline are going to end up in her resume and application that goes to her dream school, her dream internship that leads to that career that launches her. And then we teach you in this guide, in very short amount of time, how and why it's so important to be positive online and full of gratitude. You can still be your silly self, which I am. You can still make fun of yourself, but it's time to really start talking about these projects and being grateful to the organization that gave you the opportunity and telling that story so you have a purpose online. It's a very simple guide. I think it's 5 pages, really easy to read, and it's free. You go to smartsocial.com newsletter, and when you join into our newsletter, you learn about all the good and bad apps, and you stay updated with us each week as we protect the next generation. Boy, this has been fun. Natalie, I'm really thankful for you. I want you to keep up the great work, and I want you to report back to me on how this works, because I'd love to share after. If you're okay with it, I want you to think, and there's no hard feelings if there's no, but I'd love to share with the world after the detox what you heard from other students and how you felt. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, it sounds awesome. I'd love to.
Oh, you are incredible. To all you parents that are out there right now, wondering, please have a dialogue with your kids. The one thing that will protect your children in the future is a healthy dialogue with students like Natalie. Just making sure, hey, what do you want to do with your future? How do we talk about that? the more you are on the apps with your students, the more inclined they'll be comfortable to come to you if something ever goes wrong. And that's what we want, is we want the parent to be the ultimate safety app, because you're the only ones that'll wake up at 4 a.m. and wonder where your kids are at. Natalie, thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You are terrific. Everybody that's listening right now, remember to keep it light, bright, and polite, because everybody's watching and we all got to work together. Social media is going to be our new resume, and go Google yourself. Download that free guide so you can at least jump on the train of the 3-step plan that we have to protect your family. We'll see all of you on the next episode. If you liked this, if you thought Natalie was amazing, please subscribe, rate, and review so we can reach more people and protect them in this online world that we call social media. We'll see all of you guys real soon. Have a great day.